Welcome to another episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. I am Stretch, yours truly, your 6'6" phenomenon. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Here we go. Which member of Migos did not have a verse on their song Bad and Bougie?
No idea.
Come on.
I have no idea. I know the Migos had a song called Tasty. Stir Fry.
What up, everybody? Happy hump day. Yes, indeed. Yours truly, Stretch, your 6'6" phenomenon, coming at you with another episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. And I am super excited to be with you all tonight, man. I'm excited, man, because I get a chance to talk to my big bro. You know what I mean? We go back, way back, almost 24 years, I do believe. So, but with that being said, let me bring this brother to the stage. He is the vice president of urban programming for SiriusXM and also the afternoon host with The Heat with Dion on Channel 46. Everybody, please show some love for my man, Mr. Dion Summers in the building.
What up, Stretch?
What up? How you doing, man?
Yo, I'm just happy you're not wearing the get up you had on the Versus last weekend. That's all, bro. I don't think I couldn't even touch that, bro. Like, for real, like at all.
Hey, man, when you get the elements and the Isleys together, you gotta come and show out. I mean, I wasn't wearing a leather suit like Steve Harvey. Wasn't I have a chinchilla like Ron Isley, but you know, always, man. How you feel, man?
Good to see you, brother. I'm great, man. I'm great. Anybody who knows me, knows that I'm a super hypochondriac. So this past year has been crazy,
right?
Like for real. But got both my shots, so I'm back in these streets. So let's go.
That's what's up, man.
Good, man.
I'm
good
glad
to see you, brother. It's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you as well. I'm glad you got vaccinated. I got the one here to quit it because I was not about to do that 2-shot joint.
Oh, you team J&J? Okay, I see you, bro. I see you. You fancy. You fancy, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Upper echelon Negro. You feel me?
Right. Them great Papon brothers, right.
Yeah. Please. So how's the family doing, bro?
The family is good, man. All the families down there in Baltimore.
Right.
Mom's is great. Mom's got her shots too, so
good.
It's all good, man. And it's to the point where you know how it is, man. Like the older you get, you begin to kind of think of your parents the way your parents kind of thought of you. You know what I mean? In a very nurturing sense. You gotta check up on them. You gotta make sure that they were okay and that whole thing, man. But our family unit is very strong, man. So it's a blessing. My sister, had some health complications, but God is good. She powered through it. So, we're on the other side of that, man. Things are good, man. Things are good. I can't really complain at all, man. God is good.
That's good, man. That he is. It's funny because it's like you bring that up because we always think about how our parents would nag us and be on us and this, that, and other. And then everything comes full circle because you become the parent to your parents for the most part.
Oh yeah. You become the nag. Seriously, man. Like the things that they told us, like it all comes back. Like we have more lessons that we've learned from our parents that we enact in our adult lives than school. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I haven't dealt with fractions since like the 12th grade. But things my mama told me when I was 5 years old, like I'm still kicking that like to this day, man. So yeah. And you know how it is in Baltimore, man. That's the family unit in Baltimore. Like shout to Baltimore, man. Like you just go there and it just feels like home. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. It's a good thing to be from the good city of Baltimore, man. People always try to hate on our city, man. But just like any other major city, we all have our issues. But
yes, all got our accents. Like
exactly.
I never knew I had an accent until like my freshman year in college. They were like, "Yo, say dog." I'm like, "What, Doug?" Like I never even knew we had a Baltimore accent until I was out of Baltimore. So whatever, man.
The funny thing about it is, what I'm saying, with us doing radio, we kind of lose it after a while because you kind of take on different, different accents from all the places that you've been, and you kind of like you want to have like that middle line sort of just pronunciation of words. And I remember one time when I was living in LA, man, Cass was like, "Man, you don't sound like you're from Baltimore." I was like, "Well, I guess that's I don't know.
It's funny because like being in radio, you know how it is, Stretch. Like you got to be authentic to all,
Right.
and authentic to none. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, yo, I'm from Baltimore, right? But I've done radio, in other cities and other markets, and you got to really chameleon yourself and be a gypsy into that city. And you can't sound like you're from Baltimore being on the air in Miami. They'd be like, this cat sounds crazy. You know what I mean? So you gotta be that gypsy, man.
Yeah, saying two. T.
a tube of toothpaste on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, man. I gotta wash my dishes in the zinc.
Right. Pocketbook. I got it all, man. Come on. You know how we do.
We are. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, dog. Come on, fam. Hey, man. So let's jump into it, man. So I mean, you have an illustrious radio career. What drew you to radio?
I've always loved music, Stretch. Like I can just remember, being a little kid. Like me and my sister, we used to, my older sister, we used to always fight. Sometimes fight because she would whip my ass when I was a kid. But we would fight about who would get the front seat in Mom's Dodge Aspen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I love days when I got the front seat because I could play with the radio, right? Like, and back in the day, there was a bunch of AM stations, maybe date myself a little bit, but whatever. Shout out to WEBB.
Come on now.
Come on, man. And it's like, it was always a treat to be in Mom's front seat because you got first dibs on the radio. Mm-hmm. And, it started off with being a love of, mama music and my stepdad's music. Like my stepdad, the collection of music that he had, I couldn't appreciate it then because I was 6, 7 years old. Right. I'm looking at classic vinyl from Marvin Gaye and the Temptations and the Jacksons and all of Motown, all of Stevie. Like I have all these like vinyl pictures in my head to this day of vinyl that I saw when I was that age. And that kind of set my love of music in motion. And then, it was such a magical time, Stretch, because like, you're talking about the 80s when like hip hop came into its own. Right. So you got, we got the R&B influence from our mamas, but all of a sudden we got the hip hop influence that's uniquely us as kids growing up in the 80s. Like, this is our music. And so that love of music just took over for me. And I remember like, coming up, we moved around a lot. And so, I'd be in a new part of Baltimore where I didn't have any friends. My friend was my stereo. You know what I'm saying? My friend was my radio. My friends were the DJs on radio stations. And so over time as a kid, when I would listen to B103 back in the day in Baltimore, when I listened to B104 back in the day in Baltimore, and listen and hear my favorite songs, I began to take my thought a step further. And it's like, I wonder why they play these songs.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard this song about 2 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they playing it again? And why every time the DJ cuts the mic on, does he say Baltimore's best hits or music power? Who's making them say that?
Right.
Why do they say these things? And being the inquisitive nerd that I was and still am, those questions stuck with me. And and that's where kind of the love of radio entered the love of music, because I wanted to kind of peek behind the curtain, right? Mm-hmm. And be like, so what makes this whole thing tick? Right. Like, what are these things? What are these, why are these songs played in this order? Why do they say these things? Who's hiring these people? You know what I mean? Like all these questions kind of were all in my head, and it just kind of matured my love of music into a natural curiosity for radio and wanting to get in the biz.
That's dope, man. And it's funny, man, because, you and I are kind of like kindred spirits in the sense that we have the same sort of background in the sense of our love for radio. That's why I wore my Radio Raheem shirt today, man. It's just.
I see you, bro. I see you.
With music, because like myself, I can't sing, nor can I rap, any of that. But I do know music, and I love, and I think you can attest to this, just having that opportunity to connect with a listener in a way that, many people may not ever imagine, and joy that, and the camaraderie and just the connection that music brings to everybody across the world.
I always say, man, radio is the most personal medium there is. It's like you can have a one-on-one conversation where it's just me and you, and we're talking about what connects us. Like music connects all of us, man. And you know that. Like you can be on the radio, your listeners are white, black, male, female, Asian, Hispanic, gay, straight, but they love the baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like that one common thread that like unites us all, man. And it makes it so one-on-one. That's another part about it. I mean, you nailed it, brother. Like just that connection. You can't get that on television. You can't get that through any other medium, man. It's only through radio. So that's where it started for me, man. Like that love. That's where it began.
So when did your first foray into radio, what station were you at?
Okay, so I count my college radio. Does college radio count? I wasn't getting paid.
Of course.
Okay, been good. Well, actually, my first foray was before that. Like, so being the inquisitive nerd, I told you I was. One day, B104, it was the summer of 1990. Picture it.
Sicily.
Baltimore, 1990. And B104, which for those that don't know, was the top 40 station in Baltimore, right? So, we were those black boys who listened to pop, rock, hip hop, R&B, all that on your top 40 radio station. So one morning stretch, I wake up and B104 flip format.
Wow.
Flip it. No warning. No fanfare. Nothing. One day they're playing this, next day they're playing that. And as a kid, I didn't know what a format was. I didn't know what any of that was. I just knew that one day they're playing music I liked, and the next day they weren't.
Right.
So I called the radio station. I called the request line. Gary Murphy was his name. I'll never forget. Now, Gary Murphy, who was doing afternoons at B104. I called Gary, and I'm like, Gary, what happened to B104? What happened to our station? And obviously, Gary was taking these calls all day.
Right.
He gave me the number to the switchboard. And I could imagine what he was saying in his head, like, all right, smart ass. All right, call the switchboard. Yeah, get out of my face, man. He's like, call this number and ask for James Fox. I don't know who the hell James Fox is. Okay, cool. Boom. And literally, it's a phone because it's 1990. Okay, right. It's a literal phone with a cord that I'm calling to talk to James Fox, who I would later find out was the general manager of the radio station. So I called the number and I got the switchboard, and within minutes, I'm connected to the GM of the radio station. My young ass. And so crazy. So the GM pulled out a list of music that I guess the news station had brought in. And he's like, so what do you think about Wilson Phillips? And I'm like, I kind of like them. I kind of like Hold On a Little Bit. It's kind of a song. What do you think about Bobby Brown? And he was reading literally his playlist for me, like song by song.
Right.
And at the end of it, and I'm giving my feedback on each one of these songs, I'm matching them song for song, like, what? They gonna get me. You didn't catch me slipping. All this stuff. And literally by the end of that conversation, he offered me an internship at B104.
How old was
that? I was 15.
Wow.
I was 15. And that was it. Like, he offered me an internship. I was through the roof because I was the nerd that had the question about looking behind the curtain.
Right,
so there it was, man, an invitation to get behind the curtain. I was like, yo. So that was the summer before my senior year in high school. Shout out to Poly. Baltimore. Got to shout out high.
Right.
Yeah, got to shut the high school out in Baltimore. So that was the summer before my senior year in high school. I thought I was the coolest kid in class because I had an internship at the cool radio station that I go to after school. And they paid me for it. I was doing research. I was doing, hi, this is Dion calling from Radio Music Research. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but if you're a responder between 18 and 34, I'd love to speak to you about radio listening habits in the area. Do you have a few minutes for me? If yes, continue. If no, terminate. Like, I was that guy. So that kind of set the foundation, man. And then came the actual on-air part when I went away to college, when I went to Syracuse, and because Syracuse's campus radio station, had long had a tradition for being like, where kids who really want to get into radio, can go and learn real radio. Like, it wasn't a college radio station in the sense that I can go in with a bunch of my own, CDs and play my own music. Like, no, like the station had a set format that everybody had to play and adhere to, much like real life. So the campus station was a huge part of my decision to go to the university, because I heard so much about the radio station. So I was that guy. Became Neon Dion on the radio in Syracuse for 4 years. And,
right.
From there, not to jump ahead, but something that I really say a lot,
mm-hmm.
When I'm asked about my start in the biz, is the power of relationships. Because I was taught this at a very, very young age and young stage in my career. And it really stays with me to this day. I was friends with a young lady, shout out to Melanie. Hey, Mel. I was friends with Melanie in Syracuse. She was, a young communication student from San Francisco who happened to know a guy named Russ Allen. Okay. Russ Allen at the time was a night jock at her hometown station in San Francisco. During the course of me being in college, Russ got a huge promotion and became, he went from San Francisco to WPGC in Washington to, wait for it, Baltimore's 92Q. Melanie, yo, your boy Russ, can I meet him? And she initiated the meeting back when he was in DC, before he even got the job in Baltimore.
Right.
So I knew him from working in DC. And when he got the job in Baltimore, I'm about to graduate. Hey, remember me? Melanie's friend Dion? And, he remembered me, listened to some of my college air check tapes, and ended up hiring me. So after college, I got the double blessing of being in radio in my hometown, which I would not have were it not for relationships. So, and to this day, I nurture relationships, forward relationships and backward relationships, relationships with people who, with fellow colleagues, with people who are, above me in rank and stature, and also the interns, and also the coordinators, and also the assistants, because those are the leaders of tomorrow. Hell, we were coordinators, Stretch. We were interns, Stretch. Franklin skis. Like, we were interns. You know what I mean? Like we took those building blocks, and so I always respect those who want to come up, because they're gonna hire me one day.
Right.
Real talk. Yeah.
Alan, our good friend Alan Merritt, or as I like to call Alan Merritt, is up in the he's like, yo, tell the story how you and I met. I'll quick. I was in college, very similar to Dion. I had started my radio career at D103, the Heritage radio station back in the day, and worked with some wonderful folks who pretty much paved the way for me. I was 19 years old. And then once that station flipped formats, I was like, oh man. In my head, I was like, I just want to do R&B and hip hop, baby. You know what I mean? I'm young. I'm hungry. And I remember having my air check, because I went to Towson, and I would work on my air check all the time up at Towson. And I was, like you, Dion, I was pretty much ahead of the class. Oh, great show on ABC back in the day. I was ahead of the
Shout to Robin Givens.
Yeah. When it came to just understanding the nuances of radio, you know what I'm saying? I was still green, very green, but I was learning. And I remember working on my air check, and it was almost time for me to graduate. And I was like, man, I got to get on 92Q. I got to get on there. So I would go, and this is back in the day when cats were really hungry.
Yep.
I would go to the radio station every day after class, after my last class, and sit and wait for the great Tom Calacoche to walk through that door so I can give him.
Did you? I didn't know that part. I'll tell you my part after you tell me your part. But wow, dude. Yeah.
So I would wait, and then I think, if memory serves me correct, the air check got to you. Am I correct? Yeah, the air check got to you, and then boom, the rest is history.
Yes. So Calacoche, because at the time I jokingly said Frank on skis. So those from Baltimore would kind of know that. Back in the mid '90s, 92Q and V103 were staunch rivals, right?
Yeah.
Back when radio battles meant something, man. We was on it. And one of our biggest accomplishments at 92Q was when we stole the morning show guy from our competition, Frank Ski. And to create confusion in the market, V103, that was now without Frank Ski, decided to say, hey, we still got Frank on skis. And if you can find Frank on skis, we'll give you money. So Stretch was Frank on skis, taking his ass to malls, to parks. Anybody who could find Frank on skis got paid. So what you found out, Stretch, is that we all hated your ass at 92Q. We hated you with a passion. So when Calicochi sent me your air check tape, and I was assistant program director at the time, and he's like, I want you to work with him and develop him, to somebody we can use on 92Q. So when their name is Stretch. Frank on skis? Oh, hell no. Hell no. We was hating on your ass big time. Oh, now you want to come over here to 92Q. Oh, Mr. Big and Bad. Right, now you want a shot.
Hey,
but no.
I was a lone intern, man, who eventually got hired because they hired me to do Saturday afternoons, at the V, man. But it's funny the trials and tribulations and the nuances that you get into this business that formulate these great relationships that you can kind of sit back years later and just be like, damn, that's funny.
But you were a natural though, man. I do remember that. Like it takes. I was just talking to our good mutual friend Dre Johnson about this recently, man. Shout out to Dre. You got to be a natural and not even tooting our own horns because there's a lot that I can't do. I'm the 6'4" quasi phenomenon who plays no basketball. So there are things I can't do.
Right.
I know what I can do. You know what I mean? And I know I can do some great radio. And when you're in tune with your calling, when you're that in sync with your calling, like it's otherworldly, like it's God, man. And I heard that in your first tape way back when. So it's like, yo, dude's got it. We just got to, sharpen up the edges a little bit, give it a little shine. But you had it, man, and you still do. So yeah.
Brother, I appreciate it. So let's talk about the transition. So you cultivated and created this larger than life personality of who you are as Dion, and not only as just an air talent, but then also as a programmer. But then you also parlayed into two different fashions, of course, from terrestrial radio now to SiriusXM on the digital on the streaming platform. What are the differences that you think you've come across from the two different platforms?
Yep. Well, first I want to talk, what you just said about being program director and being, on air. Like much like you, man, us 90s kids, when we jumped into the game, I wanted to do it all. Like I said, I was curious about, behind the curtain. So I want to be the puppeteer and I want to be a puppet too, damn it. I want to be a player and a coach. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I want to do it all because I feel like, putting me, if I'm part of the game, it makes me better for the team. You know what I mean? And so on air was my foray into radio. But once I began to kind of, rise up the ladder of the programming department, the team that actually oversees what's played and what's said and what's not said, I still wanted to hang on to being an on-air talent. Like I still wanted that connection with the audience because I thought and still think that makes me a more credible and authentic program director. If I'm touching the audience daily, that makes me that much more effective as a program director. I'm more keyed into, what they want to hear, what they don't want to hear, that sort of thing. And so that stayed with me, man. And I always said, the day when I can't devote, as much attention to both is the day that I, call out of it. and say, okay, I'm just going to do this or just going to do that. But, as long as like the blessings keep coming in, and as long as, I got air in my lungs to do it, I'm going to do it. Because again, I think that makes me, that much, more effective of an executive and a personality. So I've carried both sides of the coin with me since 92Q. So I was at Q for 9 years, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It was great being hometown. It was great, being, a part of radio and affecting the culture in the same city I was born and raised in. Like that's a rare treat. And I hope that it isn't lost on, yourself or any of us who've been blessed to, do radio in our home cities. So I was there for 9 years. And then I went to, at the time, Clear Channel, what's now considered iHeartRadio. And I programmed a radio station in Miami for 3 years, which is Miami. But around that time, Stretch, I began to realize, there was a lot of consolidation happening in radio. A lot of, big companies kind of gobbling up the mom and pop companies. And what was happening with that was that radio was becoming a lot of Vaughn mentioned the Love Zone. I mean, yes, during the 9 years, yes, I was the Love Zone guy, and then I passed those incense and candles and panties on the Stretch. So yes, right.
All right.
But like around the time I was in Miami, radio was changing, man. Radio was changing, and a lot of the autonomy that program directors had to play the music that that they thought was the right music, based on research, based on metrics, and based on gut. A lot of those, Vaughn, you a mess. A lot of those decisions weren't being made by the program directors anymore, right? A lot of corporate program directors had kind of said, okay, we're going to oversee the music for, Miami and Dallas and Houston and St. Louis and Philadelphia. And, a lot of our decisions as program directors weren't being made by the program directors.
Right.
We were losing the autonomy. We were losing the trust that these stations had when they hired us. And, the corporate part of me, I get it. I understand. This was a time when new media was evolving. And so radio stations were losing money to new media. Radio stations have become that much more competitive. So, it kind of made business sense to streamline your programming. But I was becoming bored. It was almost like you're becoming a glorified program director. I mean, music director. And that's not what I signed up for, man. So around the time of this frustration, this creative frustration on the job, came a great opportunity that approached me from, at the time, XM satellite radio. My company, literally 5 mergers ago, right? And so there was something in XM about a certain musical freedom, trust in their programming to select songs and to curate your radio station.
Right.
That's the first time I've ever heard that word, curate, was when I was offered the job at XM. And it was exciting. And it excited me in a way that I hadn't felt since I was a kid, listening to my mama's, car radio and her Dodge Aspen, about really getting inside the music again and focusing on what matters. And my opinion and my work as a programmer has value, that all attracted me. And there were naysayers. I mean, at the time, satellite radio was very young. This was 2005, 2006. Right. At the time, satellite radio was very much a blip on the radar. Like, we weren't in that many cars. We were mostly a gadget company. If you were a gadget guy who liked to have kind of, a utility belt, around your waist, with the radio and Right. So I mean, we were far from a household anything, bruh. And I got a lot of flack from a lot of my colleagues in FM radio. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? You're in Miami. You're working for Clear Channel. Big old Clear Channel.
Right.
What the hell you doing, bro? But I went out on faith. And I said, this is where I believe, music and consumption of music is going. And this is where I want to be. This is period where I want to be. And that was 15 years ago, and since then, XM has merged with Sirius and Pandora and Stitcher and has, interest in about 4 or 5 other companies that will come to fruition within the next couple of years.
Right.
So I think I made the right decision, bro.
And it's, and kudos to you, man, for doing that, because I think a lot of times, when it comes to having that sense of complacency of knowing that, okay, yeah, I work for said large company within radio, or, insert name here, whatever you want to do. But we all know within radio, there always comes a time where something's going to change. Something's going to change, whether it be program directors, change formats, sales ain't selling, so they're going to start cutting mergers and things of that nature, or consolidations. And the fact that I think it takes a lot of, I'll use a nice word, a lot of chutzpah to go from something that that is, in a sense, they're always going to be there, or somewhat always going to be there, to something that was totally new. Because a lot of back then, people were like, pay subscription, I got to pay to listen to what I could listen. I ain't doing that.
Who the hell going to pay for radio? Right.
But then,
and believe it or not, they said the same thing about television at a certain point. Right. Now you see, we got about 30 million streaming channels on our TVs right now, man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. People will pay for the entertainment that they like.
That is true.
If you build it, they will come. If you give them entertainment that is compelling, that is unique, that is original, they'll come and they'll pay for it.
Now, you hit on something that was going to be my next question. The merger now that with SiriusXM and Pandora, how has that been for you, as not only as a personality, but also as a person in leadership in regards to your position as vice president?
So I take it back to the first merger when XM merged with Sirius, right? XM and Sirius were bitter rivals back in the day, right? XM had Oprah. Sirius had Howard Stern, right? XM had Major League Baseball. Sirius had the National Football League, right? We were bitter rivals. But when the merger happened, it really was a lesson in it was an advanced level course in corporate. What do you say? Chutzpah. It was an advanced level course in corporate chutzpah, like seriously, like the interns that we had for that semester, after the merger, I spoke to them and I told them, what you just witnessed was the most powerful element in business that you will ever witness. Nothing that anybody can teach you is as profound as a corporate takeover. I lost a lot of people on my team. On paper it was a merger of equals, but that doesn't exist. What's a merger? If you're equal, why you gonna merge? There was definitely a lot more employees on the XM side who were shown the door. A lot of them were my friends, coworkers, peers, the whole nine, man. And so that taught me, that was the first ruthless sort of situation in business I'd ever been a part of. So that taught me yo, you got more to learn. Don't sit up here and think you know everything, because bro, you don't. You're about to learn a whole new system of doing things. XM had their systems, Sirius has their systems. So you're about to go on a crash course of learning that you have never seen before. So you got to open your brain, bro. You got to open your brain, and you got to learn a new dance.
Yeah,
quick. Yeah. You were blessed to survive this thing. You emerged from the minefield unscathed. You got work to do. So that taught me then, so that when Pandora stepped into the scene, it was more of the same. I was aware of Pandora, was a subscriber of Pandora, but my knowledge of them from an inside out level had to be learned, and I had to learn it quick because now we're all playing in the same sandbox together. So here we go again. You know, like it's so cliche, but it's so true. We tell people like never stop learning, especially in this business. You know, if I stopped learning 25 years ago, I'd be playing carts and reel-to-reel machines. Like, you know what I mean? Like you never stop learning. Like it's always something else to learn. So the first merger taught me that. So by the time Pandora came around, all right, boom, let's go. I know where the bodies are buried now. All right, I know what I know and what I don't know. So what I don't know, I'm gonna learn real quick. What's your name again? What do you do? Okay, I want you to teach me what you do in a day for you. You know, how do you select and curate your music? You know what I mean? So that helps me out because once you learn that stuff, it's yours. It's yours to take wherever you want to take it to. So I had to learn as a manager how to accept the fact that I didn't know everything. And I had to expand my knowledge base to learn more. Evolution. Boom. That's what it is. Thank you, Vaughn. It's evolution. It's growth. It's growth. So yeah. And we're still learning, you know, because much like SiriusXM and Pandora, we had our own way of working. So now we have to work together. And we're getting it, you know, we're getting it together, you know, and it sounds super dope, you know, but we had to learn that. We had to learn how to play together and stop saying, well, when I was at Pandora, well, when I was at XM, well, we used to do it like this. Like there's one we now.
Right.
That's the problem. There's one we now. So you got to learn. You got to evolve. That's what it's taught me, and especially in this business.
And I think it's also, you know, very true to the simple fact of, you know, as we're living through this pandemic, you go through a merger where everyone is pretty much virtual because you're not in the same office space. You're not, you know, able to, you know, curate those relationships as you would want to, but you have to do it from a distance. So how has that been, I guess, for you, you know, trying to, you know, come together with these individuals who are coming from a different company, and then they're all together with now, you know.
You know, on the one hand, bro, I'm not mad at it. Like I call myself an extroverted introvert, or an introverted extrovert, whatever. But you know, it took me a week to get used to working from home. I'm like, what? Yeah, okay, all right, cool, let's go. What? Oh, you're gonna send me a mic? Oh, you're gonna send me a mic so I can do my show in the back? Perfect. Like it actually helped out even more because we were both thrown in this, you know, in this lion's pit of the pandemic, right? So we were all forced to kind of sink or swim. And you know, I've loved being focused, you know, in my apartment in Harlem, you know, working on radio. Like no lie, like I've been a part of some of the best radio that I've ever produced in almost 30 years, you know, sitting in this room, you know, on my laptop, like banging it out. Like it's giving me some of the best radio, you know, between myself and the team that works with me, you know, that I've ever been a part of, man. And I think that, you know, something about tragedy, something about like, you know, I think back to last year, bro, like this time last year, like last April, it was hell in New York City. Right. It was pure hell. Like I could set my watch to, you know, hearing sirens out front on 125th about every 2 to 3 minutes. Like it was hell. And it, you know, and so on the one hand, I'm like, oh my God, like is the world ending? Like what the hell's going on here? This doesn't make any sense to me. Right. But then you have to flip it. And you're a very spiritual dude, I know. So, you know, I know you get this. Like I had to flip it and be like, well, Dion, you don't have to go out there. You know, you're still getting a check on the 15th and the 30th by not having to go outside. You have everything you need in here. You know how much of a blessing that is? You don't have to wake up in the morning, go out there, you know, and risk it all every day to come back and feed your family of 10, right? That's a blessing. So stay your ass in the house and hunker down and get it done. You know what I'm saying? Get it done. And I think we all kind of had that mentality. Like all of us, you know, taking it back to your question, like I think we all had that mentality. Those of us on the SiriusXM side, on the Pandora side, like we're curators. we do content. You know, we build and produce content for a living. You know, we're blessed to be able to do this inside these walls. We don't have to. You know, we're not bus drivers. We're not. You know, our jobs aren't dependent on us going outside. So on the one hand, my God, the world is falling down all around us, but you know, the blessing in it all is that, like, yo, you got a job to do. And so that really kind of focused us all and kind of put us all on the same page.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yo, you're locked in and you're tuned into Dope Chats with Stretch. I am your host, Stretch, your 6'6" phenomenon. My guest tonight, of course, is my brother, Dion Deezy. You know what I'm saying? Vice President of Programming for SiriusXM Urban Programming, and also the host of The Heat with Dion on Channel 46 on SiriusXM. Check them out. Check them out. So, man, I guess people can say, you know, you're an OG of the game now, you know, which is funny because I'm an OG, you're an OG, and sometimes it makes me sad because I remember when I was just young and just like, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But now we're considered OGs of the game. What from that standpoint, what are your thoughts on the state of music today?
So and it's funny, man. Like you can't tell a young head to, you know, savor every minute of this. Mm-hmm. Like if someone told us that back in 1997, we'd be like, whatever, man, you old ass, whatever, man. Like you can't tell the young heads at the time that, yo, this is great. Savor this, because you're gonna blink, and in the blink of an eye, you'll be celebrating your 47th birthday.
Whoop,
yo,
whoop. Yeah. Happy birthday to you, brother.
Thank you, brother. God is good. But like, yo, those years go by so damn fast.
Right.
Like, no exaggeration. Yo, I still remember the music that we were playing on 92Q, bruh. I still remember the studio, the way it used to smell. I still remember pulling the music. I still remember jock meetings with Calicochi. Like all that like just happened. But it didn't just happen. It was 25 years ago, bro. And so here's what I know about the music. The music has not changed a bit. We have changed. We have changed because, you know, I have this theory that like when you're 15, everything in the world caters to you. And the older you move from 15, the less the world caters to you.
Right.
So like when you're 15, every TV show caters to you. Every movie caters to you. Every hit song caters to you. I guarantee you, anybody who's listening, think about the songs that were hitting when you were 15 years old. I guarantee you they were your favorite songs. You know why? Because you drive the culture. Youth drives the culture. It's always been that way, right? I was 15. I said it. I was 15 in 1990. You know, the year of In Vogue, Hold On. What? One of my favorite records. The year of Janet Jackson, Escapade. I had the Rhythm Nation CD, damn it. Like, I knew I moved the culture. I bought the CD with my own allowance. Like, you know, so when you're that young, you move the culture in a way that no other age cell can. And it lasts throughout your late teens. It lasts throughout your 20s. Your late 20s, then you kind of get a little more removed from that sweet spot, that cultural sweet spot, right? And the older you get, the more you move away from that cultural sweet spot. You know, the songs you like ain't as hitting no more. You know, the music you like, the TV shows you like ain't as hitting as it used to be. You know, you start watching 60 Minutes and The Price is Right. You ain't watched that when you was a kid, but
I need
you start moving
my life, brother.
Say what?
I said I need some 227 in my life.
Come on, right. So the older we get, the more we move away from that cultural sweet spot. But the sweet spot itself stays exactly where it is. So now putting that conversation in a 2021 context, boom, the 15-year-olds of 2021, they're ruling the culture, like it or not. My mother wasn't a fan of Escapade. My mother wasn't a fan of you know, In Vogue, Hold On. You know why? Because she was 45.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that too, man. Because I remember when Self Destruction first came out, man.
Right.
I knew every word to Self Destruction. I remember vividly. We was over my grandmother's house in DC, God rest her soul, for a holiday, and I was having some issues in school with math, right? And like, my math teacher would call home, be like, Mr. Garrett, Mrs. Garrett, he's smart. He's just not applying himself, but he's always rapping in class. And so I remember we were sitting over there, eating dinner. And then, self-destruction came on, and I'm standing in the mirror just going at it. Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. My mother said, she said, you need to rap that math like you rap them words. I was like,
exactly, man. Right. You better wrap your butt up with a book. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It wasn't for them. Like when you're 15 to 25, let's say, you rock the culture. Everything that you like is selling, is popping, is hot. And the older you get from that, the more you kind of move away from that sweet spot. But the sweet spot remains the same. So when I hear these 15-year-olds now, and I'm blessed to be still in the game where I'm programming and playing current-based music.
Right.
So I'm playing the songs that stream in the tens of millions, the hundreds of millions, that these kids are pushing, and that these kids are consuming. Do I like it? No. Some of it I do.
Yeah.
Most of it I don't. But I don't play music that I like, because that would mean I'm programming for a bunch of Dions.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not programming my station for me. I'm programming for young adults between 18 and 34 years of age, right? So I got to be respectful for that. So I may not agree with some of these artists and some of their lyrics and some of their whatever, but it hasn't changed. Cardi B is rapping about the same thing that Trina rapped about, and that Lil Kim was rapping about, and that Millie Jackson was singing about.
Yeah.
There's no difference. There's no difference at all. Like the music stays the same. We're the ones that change.
Millie Jackson.
Yeah, another vinyl from my dad's collection. Yes.
Man, remember back in the day, this takes me back to when I was working at the V, man, when you had to pull your music, and like remember the gold disc CDs that have like it was like a compilation, like all the dope points. Oh, come on, man. Like, I miss those days where you had to really like get your hour together, you know what I'm saying? And make sure to put that CD.
But see, don't sleep though, because when you put the gold disc in and you're spinning the spindle to get it on track 15, which what the log says, don't sit and put it on track 14 or the hotline's going to ring on your ass.
Well, the hotline will ring. Yeah, I know about the hotline.
Yes. I know you do hear it. Yeah.
Man, if you play that damn 29-minute version one more time.
I don't know where DJs got it in their system to play what they want to play. Let me just disavow everybody of that notion right now. Right. DJs never play what they want to play, because program directors know, Stretch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the phenomenon.
Yeah. Well, playing what's not on the playlist got me fired. But it's all
right. I'm saying, right.
Oh, good.
Right.
Hey, but a great segue, man. So who's out today that you vibe off of?
So I mentioned the baby earlier, right? To me, like, I love the baby because he has that kind of swagger that reminds me of the hip hop artists that I came up on. You know what I mean? He's unapologetic. You know what I mean? He has a way with his audience that's so unique and genuine. He connects with his male audience in a certain way, his female audience in a certain way. He just reminds me of like that 90s rapper dude. You know what I mean? That puts me in that mindset of like, yeah, like he's doing it for this generation. I love Travis Scott because he's just so different. I love how he's just like not doing what everyone else expects him to do. I love that. I love artists that kind of march to their own drummer like that. For R&B, you know, like please, like there's certain artists that just like kill it with every song. Like I love her, I
Mhm.
love SZA, I love what Anderson .Paak and Bruno are doing right now. I think they're freaking amazing. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. I love J. Cole. I love the message in his music. You know, I love Kendrick. I love what he does for the culture. Like, absolutely, man. Like, there's certain artists that certain artists that are going to be, one hit wonders, and certain artists that are going to like be around for a while. Like, I tend to gravitate toward the artists that, that I can tell are going to have a legacy in this game.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's funny because one of my next questions was going to get into, but we'll get into that later. But you already mentioned some of the artists on that. But let me pop into this, man, because I think you and I have both had experiences when it comes to interviewing artists, celebrities, whomever the case may be. What are some of your most memorable, or give me one of your most memorable interviews that you've done? And also give me one of the most not so memorable.
Oh, come on, bro. How you gonna make me do that one? Okay,
Come on,
all right.
man.
So
Let's get behind the curtain, brother.
right. So all right, I'll start with one of the ones that I love, and I tell this story often because it taught me a lesson of longevity. And if you want to if you want to have longevity in the business, like you have got to be humble.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got to be humble. Like there's no room for ego in this game at all because it's so fleeting and here today, gone today. so early on in the game, I was at 92Q. I think it was like 96. I got to interview Patti LaBelle for the Love Zone. The Patti LaBelle, my young ass, Patti LaBelle. And I remember being so nervous the night before the interview. I was talking to my mother about the interview the night before. And I was telling her how nervous I was.
Right.
And so she was, oh, baby, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. So the morning of the interview, Mom calls me back. I had a dream about Patti. I just dreamt about Patti. And you know how, older Black women are.
Mm-hmm.
Ask her what her favorite number is so I can play her number tonight. Because I dreamt about her. Ma, one thing I'm not going to do, as nervous as I am, is ask the Patti LaBelle some ghetto ass question about favorite numbers, so my ghetto mama can play the number that she likes. Mom, that's not going to happen. Period. End of story. No.
Oh man.
A few hours later, I'm at the station,
Right.
St. Paul Street, good old St. Paul Street, St. Paul Plaza, Kathy Hughes Plaza. I'm at the station, and I meet her, and I'm nervous, in a way that I'm still, new to the interviewing game. Like I'm still like, so I'm nervous. And before we began recording, I relented and I said, Miss LaBelle, if I don't do this, my mother's never going to forgive me. You see, last night, she had a dream about you. And Patti stops me. Tell that girl I said play 357. That's my kind of girl. What's her name? Lorice? Hey, Lorice, that's my kind of girl. Yes, she want a number. I know she want a number. Tell her play 357 straight and box. Do it. From that point, the ice was broken. Like we had the best interview. Like it was so dope. And the way she just knew that so instinctively and was so down,
right.
Like boom, like the best interview. It just flowed. She was just, we're just riffing, like the best interview ever. And I've never forgotten that. I've seen her obviously, more, a few times throughout the years,
right.
And I always bring up that story. She met my mother a couple of times, and it's such a full circle moment. But yeah, that without a doubt the best interview. Now I'm going to give you initials for this one.
Okay.
And it was the exact opposite of the Patti experience. Like I said at first, like the key to longevity is humility.
Right.
Patty, humble. At the time, already a legend from LaBelle and her hits in the 80s. And, you know, she was still cranking her hits in the 90s when, you know, she dropped, it was a new album, which I was interviewing her. So the opposite of that was when I interviewed RP. And you couldn't tell me that RP wasn't the living embodiment of Prince Rogers Nelson himself. New artist. Barely a song on the radio, dude. Barely a song. A half a song. Only getting loves on airplay. Wasn't even in regular rotation. just a song you would hear at night, right?
Right.
And Tom allowed me to interview RP. And yo, every question was like pulling teeth. You know, I wasn't very experienced in knowing the nuances of, you know, people who may or may not have been smoking marijuana at the time.
Right.
But thinking back, he or she was definitely high on something, right? And like every answer was like one word. He just appeared so uninterested in the whole thing, didn't want to be there. And I'm like, I'm like, this is trash. This is trash. I actually stopped the interview. It was a pre-record.
Right.
I stopped the interview, you know, respectfully, because, you know, I'm still young in the game. I can't burn bridges. I'm too young for that. But stopped the interview, told Tom, we're not going to run this. Like, this is garbage. This is the worst. He's giving me one word answers. You know, he's not engaging. Like, you know, and I did my research. You know, I knew everything. I knew the games you used to play when you was a kid, Biloxi or whatever. Like, you know, and it just was so dry. And, you know, I think now, you know, he's got records, you know, out now, but he's no Patty.
Right.
Far from it. So yeah, that was just like that I remember, like, you know, because I had both those interviews in the span of like the same month. So if the legend can be engaging and show love and be, you know, that's awesome, and the newbie can be difficult,
Right.
you know, no, that's not the move at all. So yeah, that was the worst, and God bless him, because I think he's the same way now. But yeah,
you know, people in their mental Rolodex is like RP.
right. That's Ralph Peaston, right?
Yeah. Oh man. So yo, let me you know, and I knew this was gonna go way past the time limit I like to go. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep it moving, man, because we almost been talking for an hour. We'll
I saw it coming too, man. Come on, I saw it. You know, come on, man. 25 plus years, bro. It is what it is.
Exactly. So apparently, you know, our friend Kanye West has sold his documentary, or his documentary is sold to Netflix for what, $30 million. Are you interested in watching said documentary on Kanye West?
Yo, that's so crazy. I talked about this on my show today.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely yes.
Oh, why? Do tell.
Yo, I will get like Bonita Betrell if people talk about Kanye. Like, don't nobody say nothing bad about Kanye. Don't nobody, because like, yo, like, okay, I still long for college dropout, yay. I still long for late registration, yay. Hell, I'll even take dark twisted fantasy, yay. You know what I mean? Like, his story as a black man, now a billionaire,
right?
Like, his story deserves to be told, man. And, you know, people can say what they want about the decisions that he's made, and, you know, the consequences of those decisions, but, you know, you don't get this too often,
right?
You know, here is someone who is an icon. He's a black man, like you and I, bro, like an icon. And my mind goes back, it's such a blessing to do what we do, because you have such a wealth of stories. I remember when Kanye's first album came out. I remember I was in Miami at the time. when Kanye's first album came out, and he came to my office. I was waiting for him all day because I was a fan of his music. You know, Through the Wire was just breaking, and I was like, yo, I want to meet him. You know, and it was on a Friday. Never forget, it's on a Friday. And who the hell wants to stay late on a Friday? You know, at work. But the 5 o'clock became a 6 o'clock, became a 7 o'clock. He didn't walk in my office till 8:30 on a Friday night, but I was still in there because I wanted to meet him.
Right.
And we had to push the interview back. It was an interview with my afternoon personality. It became an interview with Papa Keith, my night guy at the time, because he was so late. But he came in my office before he went in the studio, and was the most humble person. So humble. He came in, you know, with a tiny rock chain, little a rock in training chain, like a little rock chain at the time, you know, white T-shirt, and he had an unpressed version of the CD, unmastered, unpressed, white label version of the CD. And he sat in my office. He put the white label CD in my stereo, and we listened to every song. Every song on College Dropout we listened to. Every single song. And he would stop it after each song and be like, so what do you think about that? So that's Selena Johnson on that version. But I'm thinking about getting Lauryn Hill on it. What you think? You think she would do it? Like, I mean, he was so young and inquisitive and soaking up everything that, you know, me, you know, this program director dude, you know, could tell him. And that was such a great back and forth. But I'm like, yo, I see his passion. I see his passion. And, you know, it's been taken to various levels and degrees. I mean, I can't even imagine, you know, losing my mother and the way he lost his mother, and, you know, the things he's gone through in his life with the trauma with his jaw and all of that. Like, you know, trauma obviously affects you. So, but what hasn't been affected is the passion he has for what he does. So to answer your question, hell yeah. I am there with bells on. I can't wait. I hear it's going to be like footage that we haven't seen before. Like, I can't wait. Like, as an icon, you know, of what we've been through, absolutely. I would take a documentary on, you know, on a brother like Kanye West over John Bon Jovi any day. And I love Bon Jovi. But you know what? I think there's more to his story. And I want to hear it. I'm there for it, bro. Absolutely. Yes.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
So we're still relatively on a high from the verses that just went past with the elements, and of course with Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, with the elements and the Isley Brothers. In your mind, who would you like to see do a verses that has yet to do one?
Dead or alive, or alive?
Alive.
Okay. So first, let me. I've been meaning to say this for a minute, Mr. Garrett. First, I'm mad you're sipping on wine because I was gonna make me a drink. I was gonna make me some dark liquor, but I'm like, you know what? Let me keep it cool. Let me keep it cute. Some water, right? Hey, so I'm really mad right now,
hey, brother. Hydrate.
Right. So that makes me mad. But second, part of me thinks that the versus thing is getting a little played out. Only because it seemed like it was such a great idea. You know, what up, LBD? It was such a great idea. We were all in the house, and we saw artists in their house too. You know, Teddy Riley was in his studio, Face was in his studio, and Teddy Riley couldn't get his stuff to work. You know what I mean? Like, it was all like, we're all home and we're all, you know, captive in our houses, and this is cool because look, Teddy Riley's in his house too. You know what I mean? It became a pandemic thing for me. And now it seems like it's kind of gotten really corporate. You know, their logos everywhere, and, you know, elaborate sets. I think the essence of it has kind of gone downhill, right? But that being said, I would love a situation where, and you were close, Vaughn, I would love a Jay-Z LL Cool J. I would love that. I would love two men who have a lot of respect for each other, with volumes and volumes of hit songs for days, and volumes and volumes of non-hits, of album cuts, of personal, fan favorites. They can go back and forth forever, man, forever. So I would love that. Like I don't know if Jay-Z will ever agree to do a versus. I know, in our talks with L, he's part of Rock the Bells Radio, SiriusXM, plug.
Plug.
L has said that, like, yo, I got it's got to be the right setup, but I'm not opposed to it, that sort of thing, man. So I would love to see like two heavyweights, two hip hop heavyweights that with a huge catalog, just go at it, just go back and forth and just laugh. You know what I mean? And the stories they could tell, all that. Like, if we're gonna do that again, then yeah. Sidebar: I do think it's a great idea for the Method Man, Redman 420 versus. If you like, if we're still gonna do it, like, theme it out, make it a theme, make it something that we can kind of all kind of sink our teeth into. So yeah, I think that's dope.
And it's funny because I was going to do a Facebook post on Facebook or on Instagram regarding like the upcoming Escape and SWV joint. First of all, SWV wins hands down just off the remix of Anything, and the Human Nature remix off that they're done. That, like, they went off the top. You know what I'm saying? You know
that part. You know that part in every verses where, like, you're getting hits, and then at a certain point, one of them plays a song that's like, I don't remember this one.
Right.
I think that moment will come for Escape sooner than it will come for SWV. Like, I think you're right. Yeah.
Coming At You is a great album. You know what I'm saying? Great debut album. One of my favorite songs off that album is Tonight. That was like, that was a bona fide DJ Booby sex track tape.
DJ Booby sex track.
Shout out to DJ Booby.
Yes.
Shout out to my man Booby. Because I remember in high school, man, getting that, and I was like, "Woo, that's a bona fide hit." The acapella.
They got those joints. They also, like I was saying, joking that, like, there's that one song that people are like, what's that song? But there's also that moment in the versus battle when the artist will play a song that you've forgotten about.
Right.
That was like, oh, like when Escape hits My Little Secret. Yeah. Boom. All bets are off. Right.
That's it. That's it. Hey, man, look, we're gonna wrap this up real soon, but
wait a minute. What up, Alan? We do, man, and it's called Alt R&B. It's available on the app. Alt R&B. Yes, it's dope.
I listen to that religiously, so I got it. I shout you out. That is a great station. A lot of good music that come up on there, and I'll be like, ooh, who's that? You know what I'm saying? And shout out, first of all, that Victor Oladipo track, man. That brother, not only can he hoop, but he got a bona fide hit with that song right there, man.
Glad you think so, man. Shout out to Janelle Morgan, part of our programming team. Like her ear is golden, man. Shout out to my whole programming team, actually. Let me just shout out, all of them, man. Ronnie Triana, BJ Stone, Pat McKay, Sean Maskell, Dave Dickinson, Jay Hudson, like the whole team, man. The whole team holds it down. They're music lovers. They're music geeks, man, which makes this whole thing happen. So yeah, thanks to my team for really, connecting it and making us all, make sense with it.
That's what you want, man. And at the end of the day, you want to have people who kind of emulate who you are as a person, and has that same mindset and that love and that passion when it comes to music, because ultimately they are a byproduct of you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And that's really the name of the game. Jay Beezy, what's up, man? That's really the point of the game, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, all I care about is the legacy, the people that I've touched. You know what I mean? The people who are able to say, hey, Dion gave me a shot. Hey, Dion put me on. Because you know what? I could name you a laundry list of people on whose shoulders I'm rocking on right now. So that's all I want. Like, at the end of the day, no one's going to remember any song that I added. No one's going to remember, any song that I played. None of that stuff. But they'll remember who you touched, man. They'll remember, what you've done, for your people to kind of take, raise them up, just as you were raised up. And the hope is that, you'll raise up the next person. Like, that's how we build, man. That's all I care about in this game, man. For real, period.
That's love, man. That's love, man. All right, so look, I'm gonna give you some names. I just want you to. I'm gonna give you some names, and you just tell me the first word that comes to your mind that describes this person.
Oh snap! Okay, all right. Let me get a swig of water. Wait.
I think you'll enjoy this because it's right up your alley, brother. Right
okay, let's go.
I'm gonna start with the first person that I know that you adore the most. Whitney.
Brilliant.
Prince.
Enigmatic.
Ooh, look at you using them SAT words, boy. You can tell what you went to school. Janet.
Janet. Multifaceted. That's 2 words, right? Sorry. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Singer, dancer, like entertainer. Please. Like seeing her in concert is like amazing. Everything. Multifaceted.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Next. Not saying next. But yeah. I'm saying right next in the game. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Her.
Chill. Like personality and music, just chill. She's so down. Like who you see is who you see. Like so chill. Yeah.
SZA.
SZA. Weed. Can you not listen to Good Days and think about yourself just like, come on, like hands down, like who doesn't want to listen to SZA and like spark one up? Like oh my god, like it's like the best. Yes.
Baby.
The Baby.
Yeah.
90s vibe. 90s swag.
Jasmine Sullivan.
Underrated.
That last album is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, she's just getting to the point that we all saw on that first album, and it's crazy. That's first album was like 12 some years ago, and there's still some people who are like, "Who's Jasmine Sullivan?" What do you mean, who's Jasmine Sullivan? Like, yeah, just underrated all day. But finally, she reminds me a lot of like a modern day Lettucey. That was another artist who was underrated, and like Layla Hathaway, another artist who's been like underrated all these years, man, but finally came into their own. Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, Baltimore.
Comfortable, home, mama, crabs, the harbor, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Polly, right?
Hey, man.
Doug's.
When it's all said and done, and that day comes when you have to hang them headphones up, how would you like to be remembered for what you've done in this game?
Yep. So 2 things, man. 2 things. One I just mentioned. I want to be remembered for the work I've done, who I've put on. Like no one's gonna care about the music that I've added. Who cares about that kind of stuff, man? Like, I'm working toward a legacy of Black men and women, who are kicking ass right now in some small, significant or insignificant way through, what I was able to do. Because I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to the, to Roosevelt Rick Wright, who is my radio professor in Syracuse. I'm so thankful to Russ Allen, to Calicochi, to Kathy Hughes, to Doc Winter. Like I'm so thankful to so many people, Peggy Crute, my supervisor at B104. She gave me her favorite headphones to do my first radio show on 92Q. Like so many people that I'm thankful for. Melanie, my friend in college. So many people I'm thankful for that without whom I literally would not be sitting right here talking to you right now. So I want to give that back. And so, my legacy are the people that I've been able to help along the way. And the second thing I want people to remember is you know, I hope that like we aren't doing these jobs forever, right? Stretch, like, you know, but while we're doing it, you know, I learned at a very early part of my career that, yo, you are putting your thumb, you know, your thumbprint on pop culture. You
Mm-hmm.
know, yo, like songs that you're playing and, you know, promotions that you're doing and, you know, all the cool things that make your radio station pop. Like you're putting your thumb on, you know, the fabric of pop culture. Like you're playing a song that somebody will laugh from or will cry from or will make their day. Like the effect that you have outside the studio for anybody, for any creator, any creative is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I never took that for granted. And it's always been such a powerful responsibility to be like, you know, I was the guy, you know, at 92Q, at the beat, at
Mm-hmm.
Sirius that played this record that had this effect on you, you
Right.
know, and that's an honor of mine. The fact that like because before our time, you know, Stretch, there were program directors who said, a new song from the Jackson 5. I'll give this a play. And look what that person started. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
so what we do as creatives is so significant and it's such an awesome responsibility that, you know, when it's all said and done, that's the biggest thing that I will appreciate. The fact that I was blessed enough to like, you know, affect pop culture for a minute in this world.
Man, and kudos to you for doing it, brother. You know what I'm saying? You're a mainstay, and I mean, it takes a lot for someone to want, first and foremost, to get into this profession. You know what I mean? Because we all know that there's a lot of, you know, ups and downs. There's jobs, there's loss of jobs, there's friendships, there's loss of friendships. There's so many different things that kind of go with this thing. And for, you know, for a person to continue to have that mainstay and be in it for such a long time, that's a true testament to, you know, who you are as an individual, you know what I mean, who you are as a man, and who you are as just an overall person to, you know, continue to strive for excellence. So, you know, I give you kudos to that, my brother.
And real quick, brother, I'm so proud of you too, man. You know what I mean? All that you've done, you know, and continue to do with your brand, you know, as a personality, as a host, as an author. Get out of here, man. For
Thank you,
real.
man.
I want to I want to walk on role in Last Request, the movie, man. Just make me somebody, man. Just make me like the janitor at the radio station or something. Just make me something, man. Because I'm real proud of you, brother. I'm real. Frank on skis and did good, man. You did good, brother. You did good.
I appreciate it, boy. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I'm trying to get a walk on in my own movie too. You know what I'm saying? I can't play the character no more. I'm too old, brother. But you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, but it's all love. Hey, yo, man. This is a part of the show we like to call Had of Questions, man. Had of Questions. It's time for it. Had of Questions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
see, now I definitely want that brown liquor. See, go ahead.
In your hat, I have some questions, boy, and I'm gonna ask you a few of them, just maybe one or two.
Let's go.
Right, first one's up. What's your favorite word?
My favorite word?
Yeah.
Beat. No. Come on. Right. That's the easy one. Well, okay. So when I was a kid, I put a sticky note on the inside of my door that said strive.
Mm.
Like that was always the thing that I saw whenever I left whenever I would leave out of my room was strive. I don't know why, but I always wanted to kind of strive. Like I always kept that with me. So yeah, strive.
All right, I can dig it. All right, here we go. Had the questions, brother. Oh, this is a good one. What do you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
Yo, to soak up every second of your youth. Like straight up. Like we talked about it earlier. Yo, if I knew, I mean, there's obviously like, you know, ingrained stuff about the business and all of that, but no. I would want somebody to tell me to, you know, take a few minutes and enjoy the view. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Like, because, you know, kids' problems are kids' problems, man. You know what I mean? Like, mortgage is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, bills is a problem.
Right.
You know, I would love to tell, my 22-year-old self that, bruh, you riding this 1996 Nissan Altima to this job that you love, you better soak this up and stop stop hating on what you don't have. Because for real, this is a great life. Like, yeah. And you need to slow down and appreciate this. Yeah.
Right. Man, you had that Altima for a long time too.
I sure did. Yo. I drove the hell out of that Altima. What? What?
Yeah, that Altima for a long time. All right. Last one, my brother. Here we go. Oh, that's a great question to end this. What was your biggest accomplishment in your career thus far?
Wow. The biggest accomplishment in my career thus far.
Besides being on Dope Chats with Stretch.
I mean, present company excluded. Yes. I could name like a Billboard thing, like, that's really cool. I remember, Whitney is my all-time favorite. And I remember, meeting Whitney, and I remember, there was a Clive Davis event that Clive played the Whitney album for me, before it came out. And I just felt like that was the greatest thing ever. But you know what? I'm gonna take a little general and say the fact that that I'm still in the game. Like longevity, dude, is its own reward. Because I get to make new memories. You know what I'm saying? I interviewed Lil Nas X, a few months ago, and it was one of the most like eye-opening interviews I think I've ever conducted. You know what I mean? The fact that that you're still in this game at a time when this business is so unforgiving and nothing is promised at all. Nothing is promised in this game, man. And I look at the fact that I didn't take the easy route. I went for the challenge of satellite radio when others were calling me foolish, and some of those that call me foolish will later call me for jobs. It just is what it is. And the fact that when I was in DC working for SiriusXM, I wanted more. Again, I wanted to strive. I wanted to as long as I'm doing this, I want to maximize this. I don't want to I don't want to mail it in. I want to be the most that I can be in this position. So I moved myself. The company didn't say, "Hey, Dion, come work out of the New York office." I chose to do that. I chose to move up here. I could have done my job from DC, closer to home, comfortable, but I wanted to get as much out of this experience as I could. So I did the uncomfortable thing, and I shook up my comfort zone, and I moved up here. I'm just blessed to still be doing what I'm doing. I think that's the accomplishment. The fact that I'm still passionate about this thing. Some days I don't like it. Right. That'll happen. Some days I'd rather stay in bed, but the passion is still there. Like the passion, I'm still that kid in that Dodge Aspen Stretch, like straight up, like no bull. Like I'm still that kid, man. And I think that's its own reward to me. Like that's what kicks me up on those days when I don't want to get up, man. That's the accomplishment, man. That's the thing, to be able to create more memories. That's love, man. And I couldn't think of a better way to end this thing, man. And I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? We've known each other for a long time, man. And I'm so glad and still able to call you a friend, a brother, and a mentor, and a confidant. So I thank you. I thank you for being on Dope Chats with Stretch. I was so thankful when you asked me. I was like, me? I was like, hey, man. Thank you, brother. This has been so dope, man. I love you. You're my brother. Always, man. Anything you ask, I'm there with bells on, man. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Absolutely. But before we go, man, one thing. Tell my girl Tracy G, I said, "What's up, man?" You know what I'm saying? You know what? Here we go. You know what?
you know how I feel about Tracy G, man. First of all, I love Sway in the morning. That's a great morning show. That is a great morning show. But before we get out of here, man, let everybody know the platform is yours. Tell people where they can find you, where they can follow you, how they can just stay in touch with you, brother.
Okay, it's Dion DZ. I'm on the right. I was friends with a girl named Jen Boogie. Jen Boogie was her radio name. Oh, you remember Jen Boogie? Jen Boogie gave me this name. Yeah. Yo, Jen Boogie gave me this name because every time I see Jen Boogie, I'd say Jim Beezy, and she'd say Dion DZ, and it stuck. So there it is, Dion DZ. Thank you, Jen Boogie. Dion DZ. You can check out all the stations that SiriusXM has to offer under my umbrella. I work with a dope group of programmers that program Heart and Soul, Rock the Bells Radio, The Groove, Soul Town, Kirk Franklin's Praise, The Joint, SiriusXM Fly, a ton of channels available on the SiriusXM app. And I am the program director and afternoon host and weekend countdown host of The Heat, Channel 46, on the air every day from 12 to 6 from that lower room down the hall. Dion DZ on all the socials. Thank you, Stretch. This has been truly dope.
Hey, man, the pleasure is all mine. And you know one thing before I get out of here, you know what I'm saying? I want you got a young talented sister on underneath your umbrella, Swaggy C. That girl is the truth. Now, I'm not saying it because I'm friends with her mom. I'm saying that because I listen to her. I call her mom and I'll be like, this girl got it. She has it, man. Her ability, her ability to interact and be one with the artist and show a sense of familiarity and things like, man, she just got it. And I love to see young cats take this shit serious. And she's got it, man.
Yo, you have the golden ear because like Swaggy is so dope, man. Swaggy, like she can do it all, and that's what I love. That's what I'm saying. Like I love a legacy, man, and she's so dope. And I'm like, yo, I'm just thankful to be part of your ride, part of your ascension, because she's a dope interviewer. Like when you hear her do interviews, like she's so good at it. She's so great at it, man. And she sounds natural in any setting. Yes. You are right, sir. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Man.
That was a definitely good hire right there, my brother. All right, man.
And good people. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. We'll be back again next week with another dope episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. Until then, make sure you follow us on Instagram at DopeSense76Media. You can also follow me at Dope. Well, not Dope. I am dope, but you can also follow me at. And also, please, I'm letting you know that Last Request is available. It's on sale right now. You can hit us up on our website at www.dopesense76.com and pick up your copy. And I want to thank my guest, my brother Dion DZ, for hanging out with us tonight, man. And I look forward to doing this again very, very soon, my brother.
No doubt. Next time I'm pouring some brown liquor. So yeah, so you know.
Do what you gotta do, man. You know what I'm saying? So then, man, I say peace, my brother.
Peace.